Silicon Valley, technology, art, green, and sustainability. Welcome to Silicon Valley Tech, Art, Green, and Sustainability. Today I'm very honored to have three ladies on the show who I've been wanting your organization to come on the show for a very long time. And I'm so happy that I found out Joni is part of it. So I know I'm gonna murder your name. It's Mary Petron Bottega.
That's good enough.
Okay. And then we have Mary Clark Bartlett.
That's correct.
And Joni Sare. And I'm getting your Sare, your last name right. And I've known you for a while. I should know your last name the correct. So thank you for joining me, ladies. I'm very honored to have you here. You all have such amazing careers you've done in your field. And we have the Slow Food South Bay, which is part of a bigger organization. We'll talk about that later. So let's start with you and tell us about yourself. Tell us not about your business that you're doing now, but about you, like your background, whatever you would like to share.
Well, I'll tell you where I started. I started as a culinary student in Santa Barbara. Wow. I went through a hotel restaurant management program. I was classically trained French. Then I majored in business at UC Santa Barbara. I finished up at USF and actually then had an epiphany and went to the Stanford Graduate School of Business and decided I should start my own company, and that's when I did that in 2003. But working through the industry, I started in hotels and restaurants in Santa Barbara. There's like 850 of them. This is just incredible.
There is?
Yeah, it's a main tourist business there. It's just incredible. All August long, there are tourists there from Europe, so it's just incredible for the whole month. So I decided that this is my passion. I love food. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be classically trained. I want to understand exactly where food comes from. So this is how I started it, and it's been absolutely fabulous. Mm-hmm.
And so you've been doing food industry for probably more than 20 years.
Yeah, about 35.
Because I think 1995 is when I graduated, so it's been almost 20 years for me.
Wow.
And it just goes by so quick. And then Mary, tell us about your background and what you've done.
Well, I don't have a business in the food industry, but I just have a passion about food and eating good food. I grew up in South Central PA, Pennsylvania, and
can't hear any accent at all.
And I was one of 7, and so food was, not always local, seasonal, and fresh, except in the summer.
Did you have to fight for it too at the dinner table?
My father used a ruler to cut a pie into 9 pieces. So yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I met my husband. I always had wanted to marry a Spaniard because my degree is in Spanish, but instead I met an Italian and I moved to Italy. Not too bad. And so it was there that I really got to see what it means to eat fresh, local, every day. I went to farmers markets 2 times a week and went to small grocery stores close by where I could walk to. But the biggest thing was that I was with friends during the day while my husband was working, and I had to speak Italian, which I didn't know when I went there. And I can distinctly remember when I learned to make risotto in a friend's kitchen, and so to this day I use the method that Franca taught me. And I also learned from my mother-in-law, I don't know if you guys do this, but especially like when you're making fresh tomato sauce, very plain, I always use olive oil, but at the end, put a little bit, after it's cooked, you put a little bit of butter. And it gives it a taste that's incredible. So
absolutely.
I learned so much in Italy, and then we came here to California, where I had never wanted to go, and now I don't ever want to leave. And so all the fresh produce was still here, so I was able to continue this love of eating fresh, local, seasonal food. And that's how I learned about slow food in the late 80s and joined, or the late 90s.
So we're going to go there in a second, but I want to hear more about your risotto too, so we're going to ask about that in a minute. And then Joni, tell us about, I know what you do, but tell everybody, what's your background? Were you a food person too, or what was?
Well, my dad was a food person, growing corn, beans in Minnesota. So I grew up on a farm in Minnesota, and like Mary, 7 kids. Number 5 is 7. And Mom had a big garden. But
So did you have the ruler too? Whack with the ruler if you took too much of your sisters or
I think
brothers?
he was using it to measure out, right?
Yes,
He was
yes,
measuring,
yes,
yeah. But she had a garden, and in the late 70s, she was so excited about box foods that she went totally into the box foods when she went back to work. Us kids were back, all in school now, and I was
What kind of things did your family grow?
corn, soybean, and alfalfa.
And,
Yeah.
and soybean pods
And we
weren't
were-
really big eating back then, were they? So it was for oil and other things.
Yeah. Oh, cattle feed. It was
Okay.
for cattle feed.
Cattle.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, cow. Yeah.
Wow, what a diverse. Okay, so topic of the day, slow foods. Tell us. I'm going to pull up the first slide too. Tell us a little bit about Slow Foods South Bay, and tell us about these slides first. What's the snail? I didn't get the story. The snail and then the olive orchard there. Tell us about the slide here.
Well, the snail is the symbol of slow food.
Okay.
Because they move slowly. And
And is that your snail?
it's my snail on my
Love
front
it.
porch, yes. And the Frantoio olive is from the only olive grove in Santa Clara County. And we've gone there now 2 times, have had a tasting and a tour and a lecture.
With your own meetup group, right?
With our slow food members,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I want to go there and check it out. And so Slow Food started in South Bay when?
Actually, it was one of the first of 5 that started in the U.S. So we're talking that started in the late 80s.
Okay.
And
there's only 5 in the U.S.?
at the time, there were only 5.
Okay.
And it was right after it had been started in Italy in 1989. And it
So it
started.
wasn't that long ago then.
No.
I
No.
thought it was longer than
December
that.
20,
10th, right?
25 years.
Yeah.
December 10th.
Yeah.
1989.
Wow.
And it started because of McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Because a man named Carlo Petrini did not want McDonald's to go in at the Spanish Steps. So he protested but didn't win. And so he was scared that all the traditions of preparing food and were going to go away. So he started this organization.
And in Spain?
Italy.
In Italy, okay.
Yeah.
Not.
In
I
the
thought
pe-
it was Italy, but then I thought I heard Spain. So
The Spanish Steps.
Okay.
It's a spot, a very touristy spot in Rome.
In Rome.
And McDonald's put a store there. So the Romans and the Italians were not very happy about that.
Interesting.
Let's pull up the next slide too. So we've got about 3 slides, I think. Tell us about this. These apples on the right are so beautiful.
These are one of the, I don't know what kind this is. This is from Prevedelli Farm in Watsonville, and they are an organic farm. And so they go to many different farmers markets.
And then on the left there, what's this?
That is paella.
Paella.
This is from one of our events.
So did you make that?
No, we did not. Someone catered that, and but it was delicious. And there was a vegetarian variety also.
That's awesome.
We wanted to feature some of the farms in our area. The local, buying local is our big push, right? So the Prevedelli farm, so many in our area are catering to us, bringing food to us, and just within 50 miles. And with my business, I want to focus on reaching out and connecting with them, and giving farmer market tours to people, understanding that who the farmer is, meeting them face to face, and through our events. And you're doing that with your business.
Yeah, we have 40 cafes around the Bay, and we source 80% of our food is local.
Nice.
They're from local farms supporting local business. It's amazing. I mean, we live in the Mecca. Why wouldn't you do that here? Yeah.
So how did Slow Food South Bay get started then?
Well,
Was it you that started it?
No.
Okay.
Carlo Petrini.
It was. I think I got a man named David Estes. So it's an interesting story. He went to Italy. He went to. He found out about it when he went to Italy, and he came back to the Bay Area and started it. And that was.
And it's a nonprofit?
This is a nonprofit, yes.
And how many now are there?
There are 170 chapters in the U.S.
Wow.
There are
So from 5 in 1989
Yes.
to 170.
Yes, it's one of the biggest. The country with one of the biggest numbers of chapters, and there are over 150,000 members worldwide. So it's an international organization.
So Slow Food South Bay, tell us about that, and then do you have specific staple programs that you work on here? And then we'll talk about your guys' business and how it relates to that.
Well, we do have regular programs. We have one maybe not in order of importance, but we have a food literature group which meets every other month, and so they read a book about food and
Sign me up.
yeah, you can join.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you there. Yeah, and they meet and talk about the book, but then they also have all brought something, often from what recipe from the book that they've
Awesome.
cooked.
So you coordinate who's cooking what, so it doesn't
Exactly.
become the same.
Yes, it's an organized.
Same risotto
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.